The long walk home. As they stepped into the cool night air, Devon shivered. Christian was a few steps ahead of her, waiting not so patiently. She noticed he was bouncing on the soles of his feet, eager to get moving. I'm coming, I'm coming. She closed the gap between them, dragging her tired body across the pavement. Everything about her was exhausted. From head to toe, she felt like she had been through the ringer. You look like you're going to sleep like a rock tonight, Christian observed as he scanned her. She figured she must look rough if he was saying something. Oh well, what did it matter? He would have to see the side of her sometime. I am, but first, the long walk home. She pointed towards the Eiffel Tower, still glistening. It's not that bad. I'll carry you if you get too tired, he playfully bumped into her. She gave him a delicate shove back, using all of the energy she had left. When she ricocheted off of him, she was surprised to feel his hand grab hers and pull her in close. She held her breath, waiting to see what would happen. But nothing happened. She looked down. He was indeed holding her hand. They were walking in tandem, heading towards their hostel, but he hadn't made another move. Devon wasn't used to this. She was used to being swept off her feet. Every rom-com she had ever seen prompted her to wonder why she hadn't been kissed. She wasn't even sure she liked Christian like that, but they were in Paris. This is what people did in Paris. They took romantic strolls home. They held hands and gazed lovingly into each other's eyes before falling into one another in a kiss that would leave them breathless. Currently, Devon felt breathless, but not because she had been kissed. More so because she was struggling to keep up with Christian's long strides. His height had many pros, but one con was that Devon practically had to take 3 steps for every one of his. At the rate he was walking, she'd be in full-on sprint in no time. Hey, can you slow down a little bit? She was struggling to keep up as the alcohol and exhaustion hit her all at once. Shoot, sorry, yeah, I forgot I'm a fast walker. More like a tall walker. Christian looked at her with confusion as she gestured to the difference in their hip height. His hips started at her torso, a solid 2 inches above where hers were. The difference meant easily an extra few feet of leg for him and stunted ones for her. Hey, sorry, yeah, I forgot. I can slow down. They settled into an easy stroll as he headed towards the Eiffel Tower. Devon had seen its glittery light show approximately 5 times tonight, but it was no less magical. Are you having fun? Christian asked out of the blue. They had fallen into companionable silence, so Devon shook as she was brought out of it. Wait, did I just scare you? His brows furrowed in concern as he considered the possibility. No, not at all. It just startled me. It's a me thing. You're easily startled? Unfortunately, yes, so please don't jump out from behind a door when I'm around. I won't recover. Christian laughed lightheartedly, if half-heartedly. She knew what his real laugh sounded like. She had subconsciously memorized it during their time together before he went home. It seemed that she was attuned to him in such a way that she could now tell if and when he was being genuine, or trying his best to appear so. She was about to ask him how things had been since he got back, when she felt his hand squeeze around hers gently. She had forgotten it was there. Holding his hand was simple, easy. It felt as though she was being tethered to the ground in a way that was safe, not constricting. Devon, she looked up at him. She knew it was coming. She wasn't ready. She was not meant to be doing this here with him. Wait, Dev, seriously, you don't have to. She tried to tug her hand out of his, but he held on tighter. Devon, hold on. He stopped short, pulling her in closer to him reflexively. She took a deep breath in. It would be fine. She would tell him everything. Of course he would be mad, but he would get over it. They'd be friends once again, once it was out in the open. I don't know where we are anymore, and my phone is dead. She felt the air leave her all at once, taking with it all the anticipation she had felt. It was quickly replaced by fear. I've got my phone, don't worry. She rifled around her bag, digging through the maps, brochures, and train tickets, desperate to find the hard-shelled case, but coming up short. She looked up at him. I don't have mine either. Shit. Okay, well, where are we? Do you remember how we got to the bar? They had taken the metro from Sacré-Cœur earlier in the day and popped out in another arrondissement. She had no idea how to get back to the hostel. I thought you knew where you were going. She looked at him with wide eyes of shock. I thought I did, but we're on the wrong side of the river. He pointed to the Eiffel Tower and the glistening Seine much closer to them. From our hostel to the Eiffel Tower, we run parallel to the river, but this is perpendicular, so we have to get there. I just don't know if we go left or right. Right, okay, we'll be fine. This is Paris. It's a major city. We can figure this out. Devon hoped her can-do attitude made him feel better than she felt. She was scared. They weren't technically in danger, but something about being in an unfamiliar city at night left her feeling uneasy. Let's walk towards the tower and we will figure it out from there, okay? Christian nodded in agreement as they set off straight. 2 hours and countless missteps later, they were home. Devon wearily climbed the steps to the hostel with Christian, not far behind. They had conveniently been placed in the same room per Kira's rules. It occurred to Devon that Kira was a mastermind, and she did not enjoy it. Kira knew nothing of Devon's life, and putting her and Christian in the same room was a gross overstep of her planning power. I'm glad we made it. Christian turned the key into the lock and opened the room, turning on the light. Their twin beds were across the aisle from one another, made up neatly with the hospital corner folds and a starchy cover sheet that would do little to keep either warm. Me too, but it's freezing in here. You think there's heat in this place? Devon shuddered as she thought about putting her pajamas on. The idea of taking her clothes off to put on colder ones left her nauseous. I don't know, but you're right. It's actually ice cold. No one could sleep in this. Christian ran his hands through his hair, laughing mildly to himself. What's so funny? Devon felt oddly defensive. Could he be laughing at her? Nothing. Christian, you just made me walk 3 hours through the streets of Paris in the freezing cold. Want to clue me into why you think that's funny? She watched as his face turned suddenly somber. I actually don't think that's funny. I was thinking that it's hilarious that on the one night that I have a chance to talk to you, quality time, getting to see if we like each other, I get us lost. Devon stared back at him in disbelief. Of course she had known some version of this was coming, but she hadn't known he actually liked her. She had assumed he wanted to hook up. They were abroad. What would it matter? But him wanting to talk to her signaled something deeper. Oh, wait, do you like me? She watched the blush creep up his neck to his cheeks. Really not that obvious, huh? I mean, I thought you did, but sometimes it's hard to tell with you. Well, yeah, I guess I do. I don't spend this much time with anyone else, if you haven't noticed. I had, but I also thought about the fact that you had so much going on. Liking someone would be a lot on your plate. You still haven't told me if you like me. Devon caught his eye, the intensity between them electrifying as each moment passed. She couldn't tell him. Not now, not yet. Just as she was about to respond, there was a knock at the door. I'll get it. No one knocking at 2 a.m. has anything good to be doing. Christian closed the distance between them as he opened the door. Hey! Oh, good, you guys are still awake. Beth stood sheepishly in the doorway. Devon briefly wondered if she could feel the waves of tension and sexual energy pulsating between them. Everything okay, Beth? Devon took in Beth's pajamas and toothbrush. She was still in her going-out clothes, but it looked like she had been handed a care package of toiletries. Yeah, of course. It's just that, Kira's busy, so would you guys mind if I crashed here? Christian, ever the gentleman, stepped back from the door and welcomed Beth inside. You guys take the beds. I can take the floor. Oh my God, no, absolutely not. I'm not letting you sleep on the floor. Beth looked horrified. It's fine. I'm used to it. Devon jumped in to interject. Christian, we can share a bed. We don't have enough blankets, and it's fine. Are you sure? Beth looked at her doe-eyed and cautious. Devon couldn't tell if it was an act or if she genuinely was this naive. Yes, I'm sure. It's been a long day. It's not like we'd be getting up to anything anyway. She pretended not to notice Christian's downcast eyes as Beth happily began putting her stuff down. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. After changing into their pajamas and settling into bed, as much as they could anyway, Devon couldn't help herself. She rearranged her body so she and Christian weren't shoulder to shoulder, but instead she was the little spoon. She felt safe and warm as his hand moved to rest across her belly, drawing her in closer. She felt him nuzzle his face ever so slightly into her hair, or maybe he was simply brushing it out of his own face. Either way, she desperately wanted to know one thing. Hey, Beth. She waited a beat to see if Beth was asleep yet. Came Beth's response from under the covers. Who'd Kira kick you out for? She could feel the palpable hesitation. To be honest, I'm not sure. After we got home, I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, she was waiting for me with my pajamas. She didn't even open the door the whole way, but my guess would be one of the guys from the bar. Like, one of our guys? She felt Christian's hand wrap further around her, a warning sign not to pry too much. No, I think one of the French guys we met after you left. There was one who was pretty smitten with her and walked home with us. But I could have sworn he had left before we walked into the building. I could be wrong, though. Devon murmured her agreement, but her mind continued to turn. It wasn't that she cared that Kira was hooking up with someone. It was that who she was hooking up with that mattered. Kira had spent the better part of the last 24 hours making sure she and Christian were paired off, leaving Joe all to herself. Sure, Christian was great. He was handsome, tall, he liked her, and she thought she liked him. But Joe was something else entirely. If Kira was hooking up with Joe, Devon was in big trouble.